still on Mallorca. My family was here the whole month. Now you can see me, that's nice. Flashlight. We have this podcast in Berlin that we were looking forward to so much. I hope this is gonna work out. And on the way I will share how we produce a podcast, mastering, content-wise, and all that stuff. As I said, most important thing, make the effort and be there. There is something about being there in person, meeting the other person, talking to the other person. So the secret to producing a podcast is actually making the effort and meeting the person. Second thing, I will read about our interview guest, and then you try to ask challenging or revealing questions. You actually work through the question letter. The question letter is a tool I use in sales. You don't start with the closed questions, because closed questions are stuff with yes and no answers. You ask open questions, but this is too easy. You then go to leading and revealing questions, leading it towards the direction of the topic you want to go to, and then revealing questions, reveal something about the person that gives you the idea of what is their opinion, what do they think. And then you go to challenging questions. So usually questions they don't have an answer to, or you don't have an answer to. That's the interesting part that you want to talk about. I gotta return the card now. That was the reason why I got up so early in Mallorca. We have the chance to interview Dr. Matthias Döpfner, CEO and Chairman of Axel Springer, who sits way up there. So we should be on time. Okay, I promised to share some more preparation stuff. Make sure the technology works properly, okay? Be there 20 minutes early, make a sound check, see that everything works, and in the case of Dr. Döpfner, where you have a one-shot, make sure you have a backup microphone 15 minutes ago. He's like the boss of the most important media house in Germany, yes. Bild-Zeitung.
CEO, 16,000 people, and a company which really transformed itself from old school media into digital media. Still on its way, but I think on a very, very interesting way.
And if you prepare a podcast like that, as I said, getting up early and being there is so important, and I cannot just point that out enough. To be there was super important, because you can look them in the eyes and you're fully attentive. And this is actually the most important thing. You can have everything prepared, all the questions, the structure, everything. But what makes the difference is the way you talk to your guest and the way you listen to your guest, and then dive into the questions. I will cut that. So we just end the movie that we started this morning. I'm in Berlin now before I head to Hamburg. Palma, Berlin, Hamburg. Most important thing after the podcast, right after you finished it, don't leave it on the device. Take your laptop, anything with you that you can back up to the cloud right away. I do that right away. And I used to mix it with Audible, or I did that, but with this new device that I didn't share in the last one because I didn't have it, I recommend this one here. If you invest 400 or 350 instead of 250 or something, it's worth it, because you have 4 separate tracks that you can play to, and you have an option that is called Mixdown. So you can, each track is recorded as a separate track, and you can then just press Mixdown and you get the ideal mix of who's talking. And this is so important because people always think you can do the podcast via Skype or anything. People listen to it on their phones in high quality headphones on the go, or on their Sonos boxes at home, and you want good audio quality for the podcast. How do we publish the podcast? I of course forgot that. Most important thing is of course to record it and to get involved. But upload it to SoundCloud, and from SoundCloud you get an RSS feed. And this RSS feed you can then use to integrate it into iTunes. It's not that complicated, you just need to know which link you use. So you need your Apple ID, and with the Apple ID you then click a link. I will link that here, and then you pull the RSS feed into that. That's the whole trick. So whenever you publish something on SoundCloud, it pulls it on iTunes, and then on SoundCloud With a paid account, I think it costs 99 per year or something. You then have the stats and see who is actually listening to it, who is giving feedback. The last thing that we do, we publish frequently. Every Monday is our time to post, or at least we have it ready Monday 6:30, and then we share it via Facebook, put a little bit of advertising on it, then LinkedIn and Xing. And we get a lot of feedback from LinkedIn for us because it's a business podcast, and we learned that usually you get a lot from the subscribers on the podcast, but we get more feedback from the sharing. So people listening randomly to the podcast and then come back to us. So we have a quite high ratio of people listening compared to our subscribers. But I don't know, I'm not a professional in that. That's it. Part 2 of how to make a podcast, how to produce a podcast. I hope that was helpful. Don't forget to subscribe, and I see you guys next week.